Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, October 16th. That's October 17th, 2024. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. St. Vincent and the Grenadines' domestic and external debt is projected to reach its highest level in 2025. However, it is expected to reduce by 50% by 2027. This information was shared by Minister of Finance Camilo Gonsalves in Parliament on Tuesday while responding to a query from opposition member for East Kingstown, Fitzgerald Bramble, regarding the government's debt management plan. The Fiscal Responsibility Mechanism body has recommended that the government prepare a long-term plan extending to 2035, but the government has indicated that a 3-year plan is more feasible.
The expected reduction in borrowing by approximately 50%, not 50% is indicative of the aggressive debt reduction plan of the government upon completion of the modern port, which will be driven largely by a streamlined capital program targeted to expand productive capacity in key sectors and build resilience to climate and other disaster events. In addition, the primary balance rule will be activated in fiscal year 2026 onwards, of course, barring any other natural disasters. That will also reduce debt towards the 2035 target.
The domestic debt forecast for 2025 is set at 113 million EC dollars, while the external debt is projected to reach $318 million. For 2026 and 2027, the domestic debt is expected to amount to $56 million, and the external debt for both years is forecasted at $158 million. Minister Gonsalves stated that the projections for GDP look promising, provided there are no major disasters.
2025, the current expenditure growth is 3.1%. The nominal GDP growth is 7.2%, and the wage bill as a percentage of GDP would be 11.5%. In 2026, the current expenditure growth would be 3.8%. The nominal GDP growth is forecast at 5%, and the wage bill to GDP would be 11.2%. And in 2027, the current expenditure growth is forecast at 3.4%, the nominal GDP growth at 4.4%, and the wage bill to GDP at 11%.
The finance minister also outlined the borrowings for large projects that have contributed to the increase in SVG's debt.
The debt in the recent years has been driven by a couple of things. Big infrastructure projects, and the primary big infrastructure project is the port. The secondary one would be the acute referral hospital. The third one would be the Marriott Resort Hotel, which we will commence, hopefully, we'll break ground before the year is out. And secondarily, disasters. And I include in the disasters the COVID pandemic, because that had a collapse, as you know, in tourism and productive capacity for a period that necessitated borrowing, followed by the volcanic eruptions, which was a massive hit in terms of loss and damage, and now compounded by Hurricane Beryl. And unfortunately, we've been having a major catastrophe every other year.
Meanwhile, Parliament approved on Tuesday a resolution to guarantee borrowing of 40 million EC dollars for St. Vincent and the Grenadines Port Authority to finance the purchase of equipment for the new port, which is currently under construction. The bill, tabled by Minister of Finance Camilo Gonsalves, stipulates that a bond must first be issued to the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange. The SVG Port Authority, which is responsible for equipping the new port, estimates that the total cost of the equipment will be $50 million, with the authority contributing $10 million. The remaining $40 million will be borrowed from the Bank of SVG and the Bank of Grenada.
The equipment is knocking its head on $40 million, $39 million. There's 6% contingencies. They're taking the opportunity to consolidate some existing loans, and they have $10 million of their own. And they borrow the $40 million by these terms that they have negotiated. submit a loan request to the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines Limited. Loan facility is approved pending these steps being completed, obviously, of 10 years in an amortized bond registered with the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange at an interest rate of 5.75%. The Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will fund $20 million and the Grenada Cooperative Bank will fund $20 million. So it's a syndicated loan.
Minister Gonsalves stated that the equipment to be purchased will vary and will ensure efficient everyday operations at the new port.
Harbor crane is just under $16 million. A container handling unit is $3.1 million. Multiple forklifts. Well, the container handling unit, they're buying 2 of those. Sorry again? The container handling unit, those are $3 million. No, the 2 of them. Then there are multiple forklifts. There are 6 diesel forklifts, 2 LPG forklifts, 2 electric forklifts, 3 6-ton forklifts. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 forklifts of varying sizes. The diesel forklifts come up to $468,000. The LPG forklifts up to $263,000. The electric forklifts up to $400,000. The 6-ton forklifts or the 60 forklifts up to $664,000.
Meanwhile, opposition members of parliament raised concerns regarding the implications of the borrowings and the increase in debt. Opposition leader Godwin Friday expressed support for the bill, but emphasized the need for clarifications on how the debt would be managed.
The fact that we have been seeing the debt climb and the ability to service it becomes more and more difficult. So that essential, and we didn't just make this up, what they call the thing, Fitz, the accountability mechanism, fiscal accountability mechanism, whatever it's called. Yes, the government institution. I like its report, but I don't remember the name. But what it said, Madam Speaker, is that, yeah, you got to be careful with the debt. Because if you do not manage your debt carefully, that is to say, debt that you obtain them at the lowest interest rates, and that you make sure that you service them, and that whatever you invest them into, that they are productive. That is not wasteful investments. So you have a return. You can pay, you can service your debt. If you don't manage that, then you run the risk, Madam Speaker, of being unable to meet these social requirements and obligations that we have as government to provide basic services for our people.
The new port is expected to be completed by May 2025. Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor, Saboto Caesar, is encouraging the nation's youth to explore careers in the agriculture sector. Minister Caesar made this statement during a handing over ceremony and demonstration exercise at the ministry's compound in Kingstown yesterday as part of the celebrations for World Food Day 2024. This year's theme is Right to Food for a Better Life and a Better Future. Leave no one behind. The World Food Day 2024 celebration, hosted by the Ministry of Agriculture, specifically targeted agricultural science students from various primary and secondary schools across St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
To leave you with something. The future is in your hands. The future of food in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, if you decide you don't want to do agriculture science, if you decide you don't want to farm, if you decide that all of the lands that are there to plant things in the backyard, I am going to go to the supermarket and buy instead of plant, you are going to decide your destiny.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Nerissa Gittins-Macmillan, delivered brief remarks at the handing over ceremony, encouraging the youth to contribute to the agricultural sector.
It is an expensive venture right about now, But if you can grow in your yard, you would reduce that bill. You would be producing nutritious food because you're doing it yourself. You would take better care of it. The thing is, you can produce food without having to have lots of land to do it. And if you're going to be producing food at schools and have your school gardens functioning, you can utilize the food in your school feeding program. Again, you know what you're producing. It's better, it's more nutritious, it's healthier.
The Food and Agriculture Organization, the FAO representative Vimaran Extavo, who also addressed the gathering, stressed the importance of the next generation's involvement in agriculture. She noted concerns about the impact of climate change on the sector and emphasized the need for proactive engagement from young people.
We are feeling the heat, the increased heat, less water. We have challenges in cost, more cost that we have to pay for the same food. So therefore it makes an urgent call for us to use climate smart agriculture tools and solutions in order to address our agricultural supply in a more sustainable manner. We need to use sustainable practices such as the vertical farming systems that you will see today. These systems are great climate smart system examples, which allows us to use less land but to produce more food. It allows us to use water more efficiently. It allows us to use fertilizers and nutrients in a safe manner that doesn't allow us to, and also helps us to use less pesticides to treat with the plants.
The first phase of the new campus of the St. James School of Medicine in St. Vincent and the Grenadines was officially opened today. Shosha Goa, Chief Operating Officer of the St. James School of Medicine, stated that today's opening ceremony represents a collective dream and hard work of many people over the last 25 years.
And that's another thing I wanted to point out today, that this is not just a celebration of the inauguration of this particular campus, in this beautiful location. It's also 25 years of St. James School of Medicine's existence. We started in the year 1999 with very humble beginnings in the island of Bonaire with just 22 students and very few faculty, and that from there, here we are today on our very own campus in this beautiful island of St. Vincent. In between, we opened another campus in Anguilla, as you all know, that was in 2010, and in 2014 is when we first stepped into St. Vincent. We moved our Bonaire school over here, and we have never looked back since then.
Gua said the completed building, part of the first phase of the campus, is expected to accommodate 120 students, with plans to expand further to accommodate more students.
Will eventually encompass about 48,000 square feet of classroom, faculty and student facilities, and all kinds of other things, exciting plans that we have. So please do take some time, have a look around. We are so excited to be here today at this inauguration ceremony. We are very proud that we have been able to take this step today that has been in our minds for 25 years. We are currently at a student strength of a total of 800, with about 400 in our Caribbean campuses. We hope to increase this number in the coming few years by adding even more students from countries other than the US and Canada, by bringing in students from India and the UAE, hopefully. Big plans. We are very excited about the way forward that we have in St. Vincent. We have received so much love and support from St. Vincent and its people, and we are truly honored to be here today.
The St. James School of Medicine has partnered with Argo Development Studio, an Ireland-based world-renowned agriculture design and construction company, on the new campus project. The National Fisherfolk Organization, the NFO, has distributed relief supplies to fishermen affected by the passage of Hurricane Beryl, particularly those in the southern Grenadines. President of the NFO, Winsbert Harry, stated that several organizations came together to provide support to the fishermen.
I must say how appreciated it is to see that organization come to the assistance of the national organization so we can assist fisher folks in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we are reaching out to affected fisher folks in the southern Grenadines mainly. So we are giving them some food items so they could make ends meet in terms of supporting their family, because we know that they're not able to fish at this moment to have a stable income. So the national organization, through Conari, is assisting these fisher folks.
Harry noted that many fishermen have not yet returned to fishing, as some boats were damaged beyond repair, and for others, the cost of repairs is too high. As a result, items other than food will also be distributed to the fishermen.
We'll be assisting fisher folks, giving them engine propeller. The national organization will be giving them rain clothes like jacket, nylon, bait, and hook from next week. So as the president, I really must say thanks to White Hunger, and in collaboration with the Caribbean Network of Fisher Folks Organization, the CNFO, and as the president of the national organization and being a fisherman, I know what it is. So I really appreciate this effort and this support from these two entities that they could assist fisher folks in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to be active again and to ready to operate their fishing operation, that they could sustain and add to food security for this country here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well supply and maintain themselves and have a revenue that could generate an extra income for their family.
Meanwhile, the government has promised to provide income support to the fishermen next month. The General Employees Cooperative Credit Union Limited, GECCU, is celebrating its 60th anniversary with a series of activities. Last evening, the credit union hosted its 60th anniversary lecture at the UWI Global Campus site in Kingstown under the theme, A Gem We Have Built Together. This year's lecture was held in honor of the late former treasurer, Charles McIntosh. Delivering welcoming remarks, Chief Executive Officer of GECCU, Maxine Richards-Johnny, highlighted that McIntosh's dedication and service were instrumental in the growth of the institution. Johnny noted that although they had planned a year-long celebration, they faced several challenges that led to some activities being shelved. However, the organization remains committed to its members and staff.
We continue to support our staff and members, especially those who are directly affected, as they recover from these experiences. Since then, we have reopened most of the affected offices, and we are working earnestly on the reopening of our Union Island office. As we gather here this afternoon, we celebrate not only our history, but also the collective spirit that has made GECCU what it is today, a beacon of trust and stability in our community. And on this note, I would like to state my profound appreciation to all of you, our volunteers, our staff, our members and external stakeholders and partners. You are the pillars and the bedrock of this credit union, and your hard work and dedication and unwavering support have been instrumental to our journey. So as we reflect on our legacy, let us all take this opportunity to look ahead, fortified by the same spirit of collaboration and shared purpose that has brought us this far.
GECCU's president, Michael Sears, remarked that over the years, the credit union has undergone many changes and endured numerous challenges, yet it remains steadfast.
And we are here because of the grace of God, but we are also here because of the hard work and the dedication of each and every individual who has helped to build GECCU. It is not just about those who started, because yes, the foundation is important, but the building is not complete just because there is a foundation. You must have a strong...
The 60th anniversary lecture was delivered by former Chief Executive Officer Lennox Bowman, who emphasized that this milestone not only marks 6 decades of growth, service and commitment, but also reflects the collective dedication of the members, leaders, and visionaries who have shaped GECCU into the gem it is today. Bowman credited the work of McIntosh, whose passion for the cooperative movement and efforts in championing the principles of credit unions have left an indelible mark on the community.
Charles McIntosh's contributions resonate deeply within the fabric of GECCU's values, reminding us that this is true unity, mutual trust, and a shared purpose that we have strived. I want to congratulate the Board of Directors for dedicating this presentation to his memory. And I want to say to the family, rest assured that your dad, and in the case of Mrs. McIntosh, his wife, that Charles did a phenomenal job in his own calm way. GECCU has been honed and shaped by the vicissitudes of time, commitment, sacrifice, foresight, husbandry, principle, pragmatism, and people power.
GECCU's 60th anniversary celebration will continue tomorrow with a university bursary ceremony, during which 20 university bursaries valued at $3,000 each will be awarded to members. The handing over ceremony will take place at the National Insurance Services Conference Room, beginning at 9 a.m. The hunting season in the Grenadine Islands, which typically runs from October 1st to January 31st, is closed this year. This is according to Director of Forestry Fitzgerald Providence, who stated that the damage caused to the island's forests, particularly on Union Island, has significantly affected many reptiles and animals.
The forest has been, forest and vegetation areas in Union Island and in the Grenadine Islands have been so impacted that we realize that it would impact on the habitat of the reptiles and mammals that live there. Actually, some may have been killed during the process of the passage of the hurricane. So we have decided to close the hunting season throughout the Grenadines during that period, during this period that it should be open to protect the remaining wildlife that is there and allow the population to naturally replenish, because there would be no pressure of hunting, because also the animals would be more exposed and susceptible to hunting because the cover of the vegetation is gone.
The forestry director emphasized that the department aims to preserve an iguana endemic to the Grenadines, especially during this period.
On Union Island, regularly hunted is, I think, mainly the iguanas and the manicou or opossum. And one of our concerns, particularly with the iguana, is that the iguana in the Grenadine Islands, particularly Union, is a very unique species that we've just identified genetically as different from the green iguana. The green iguana is mainly on mainland St. Vincent. But however, through scientific research and the publishing of a new scientific paper, it has been determined that the species in the Grenadines, particularly that on Union Island, is a Grenadine iguana, unique to the Grenadines, and then so it's an endemic species. And also it has a unique color and identification. It's also known as the pink rhino or zebra iguana.
Providence reminded the public that hunting is prohibited in the forest reserves of the Grenadines. Meanwhile, on mainland St. Vincent, he noted that the hunting season is also shortened, starting on October 1st and ending on December 31st.